What's going on, Collateral Cinema fans? This is a special segment that we're going to start doing at the beginning of every episode. We just wanted to go ahead and give back to the many podcasts and other accounts of interest that have been retweeting our stuff on Twitter. We're really thankful to all you guys, and we wanted to go ahead and give shout outs to your shows and everything. So to all of our listeners, please check out these podcasts. Please follow them, give them reviews, check them out. The first podcast that we are going to shout out is the podcast that I started off on. It's the Trial by Error Variety Show podcast. It focuses on independent music. They do interviews of different bands and everything, and it's hosted by my buddy Chaz Rab. He's really cool. You can find them at TB Variety Show on Twitter. You can find them on Facebook, and you can find them wherever you get your podcasts. So whatever you do, check them out if you're into any kind of music, no matter what the genre, metal, punk, hip hop, alternative, EDM, whatever. Yeah, I think he even did a dubstep artist at one time, but definitely check out our friend Chaz at Trial by Error Variety Show podcast, and yeah, on with the show. I'm Beau Maddox.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
This is Collateral Cinema.
What makes you think you can bullshit your way into my head? Like every other pencil-neck piece of shit.
Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast, so whatever you have, smoke it if you've got it. And we're definitely smoking out tonight because this is our season finale. Guys, what do y'all think?
Oh, it's already over, right?
Oh, man, I can't believe it. It's been a hell of a season so far, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, Ash, you weren't here at the beginning of the season, of course. You came in kind of a little closer towards the end. What's your experience been like on this show so far? What do you think?
Oh, I just feel like I committed seppuku and strangled somebody with my own guts.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, don't we all? I mean, don't we all kind of get to that point in some way?
Definitely.
How about you, Robert?
Yeah, I think just in another way. Yeah, in another way.
What do you think about the new season coming up?
Season 2? Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But, I mean, season 1 has been quite a roller coaster. I mean, we started off with a Japanese movie called Audition. That was our pilot. And then we started off with Food Fight, of all things,
Yeah.
And we've come a long way since then. I mean, we've gotten into some really interesting movies along the way. I mean, everything from David Lynch to Tommy Wiseau to even the guys from Broken Lizard. I mean, it's been interesting.
I'm really glad to be a part of this now.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have many of the people that started off, like Mr. Joseph Cantu and Frankie Avila.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm sure that at least Joseph will be back on the show at some time.
Both of them will make some appearance.
Both of them will make some kind of appearance. And in the next season, we are looking to have some more actual guest hosts on the podcast. Something that'll actually kind of bring more people in to listen to us,
That'd be badass.
I mean, we have a lot to give, but we definitely should collaborate with some people. So, yeah, podcasters out there, hit us up.
Collaborate with Collateral.
Collaborate with Collateral Cinema.
Instagram, Twitter.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find us there. Definitely. And, I mean, season 2, we're going to start off with a At the Theater episode.
In October with Halloween, the reboot, right?
Oh, yeah, the reboot is going to be really interesting.
We're going to live stream the whole thing and cam rip it.
Yeah, on-screen showing, definitely.
Oh man, yeah, we're gonna be dirty little pirates, right?
Can't wait. Does it take 30 years to kill Michael Myers, really?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, would it take
maybe?
you 30 years to kill Michael Myers?
Knowing how implacable he is, yeah, probably. It would take me quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already had how many reboots in that series, you know? I mean, he's been killed like every which way you can think of.
Oh, like Jason just keeps coming back.
Just like Jason, yeah.
How many actors?
Oh man, like I don't know how many actors have played Michael throughout the years.
Oh, just in the first film, it was like over 7.
Yeah,
actors.
that's
Remember
right.
that,
There was
dude?
that's right.
There was
We
like
talked about
7
that.
Michaels just in the first film.
And yet, not once have they ever cast Mike Myers as Michael Myers.
All right. That'd make a lot more sense if people wouldn't be so confused, right?
That would be absolutely fucking priceless. This is my swamp, motherfuckers.
It's never ogre.
We're going to check out a few interesting movies as well. We're going to check out Master of Disguise, which is a total crap-tacular piece of shit, like in every which way you can think of.
Turtle.
Oh,
Dana
God.
Carvey's best yet, right?
Best? Are you serious?
No. He did a really good Garth. I mean, that's where he should have stayed.
Now, there was a point where Dana Carvey was really funny and really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he had the Dana Carvey show
yeah.
with Steve Carell. Man, that was brilliant back in the day.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that was really awesome. I mean, I only watched a few episodes of it, like when it was broadcast. But
Yeah, that's some
yeah,
old
I mean,
stuff.
that ended up being a really, really influential series. So it's kind of weird that all those years later he would have this drop off in quality. But we'll get into that in the next season. We're also going to check out Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a high note, I think. We're just going to go ahead and just hype up what we think are going to be the good episodes.
And they just released the second one on DVD too.
Yeah, they just released the second one on DVD. I mean, I think we're going to save that for another episode probably.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we have to do a Monty Python movie. So we're totally going to do Holy Grail.
That's
Holy Grail.
really the best
Should
one
we
to
get
do.
some coconuts when we're doing it?
Oh, we should totally have some coconuts,
Totally
guys.
do that, right?
Cloppity, cloppity, cloppity. Listen to my hooves. Oh, man, Freddie got fingered. Man, more people need to listen to that episode. That's,
Right. And I think we've got a commentary coming up on that for our Patreon.
Yeah. And we're also going to retool our Patreon. Like, we're going to start offering more content on there. We're going to, especially for people who want to pay by the post, I think we're going to change from a monthly subscription on there to where you just pay by the post. So we're going to get that retooled a little bit. We're also going to have a new cover photo, completely new.
New soundtrack. Right?
Yeah, we're going to have new music
Can't
every
wait for that.
season.
Yeah, that's gonna be unique. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah. I mean, we're not really sure who we're going to get to actually do the music for us. I mean, I don't know if we have any ideas, but we will have something coming in the next few months.
Can always throw something together using loops on GarageBand.
If anything. Or like Ableton or something like that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, definitely check out our Patreon and also our Podbean patron page. That's where you're going to find our actual movie commentaries because apparently we don't have enough space on Patreon to put the full commentaries up. So
That's right. The commentaries are actually on the Podbean patron page, right?
Yeah. So definitely go to Podbean Patreon page.collateralcinema.com. I think it's like podbeanpatron.collateralcinema.com or something like that. And definitely find us on Patreon once again. Like, we definitely need the help, ladies and gentlemen. We are currently going to upgrade our recording area. We're going to have a new studio here very soon. And we're also going to have a bonus episode coming up pretty soon with Chaz Rab of Trial by Error Variety Show, which was mentioned earlier before the episode began. We're doing podcast shout-outs as well. And then we're going to do a movie called Zombie Honeymoon.
I'm just finding out about that movie now. So,
Yeah,
crazy.
I've seen it on the DVD shelves, like whenever I go DVD shopping, and it's kind of caught my eye, but it never really made me want to pick it up for some reason.
Zombie Honeymoon, huh?
Zombie Honeymoon.
All right.
Is that something out of the
Sounds
80s,
worth checking out.
90s?
No, I think it's a recent movie.
Oh,
I think it's pretty recent, like not too recent, but recent enough to matter, I guess.
Zombie Honeymoon. All
So
right.
y'all want to see that? Please support us because we don't even make living wages.
No, we don't make living wages doing this shit or what we do in our day jobs, for that matter. So yes, please please come and support us. We definitely need the patrons. And
you'll be able to check out our commentary on The Room.
oh, yeah, definitely. You want to check out that commentary. And there is a free commentary that is still up for Food Fight that we recorded back in the day. Like, we recorded that, like, before we recorded the episode, right?
Yeah. My very first episode, actually, to be exact.
My very first episode was the commentary on The Room, so.
Yes, that's interesting. Both of y'all came in on commentaries pretty much.
That's funny.
That's interesting.
Not too bad, really. It's been a beautiful ride.
Yeah, it certainly has. But today's movie that we are featuring on our season finale is a movie that's very entertaining in so many ways. I mean, I know we done a lot of really entertaining films this season.
Yeah, I think we had a select of good choices. Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to have a little bit more variety in the next season. We might have some more shitty movie episodes.
Right, I think everything we've done has literally been either good or so bad it's good.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, there's a lot of original stuff that you haven't seen yet, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right, Ash?
There's a lot of things I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Well, you like we said when you joined us, you're all going to be on a journey. That's for sure.
Well, I've noticed the movies so far that we've done, they've all been pretty original in terms of scope. I mean, even some of the more mainstream ones like Rocky, down to the more obscure ones, which seems to be most of the episodes so far.
Yeah.
Everything we've done, I've noticed, has just been something that we felt has never really been done before.
I mean, some of the movies that we've done, they've kind of been done before in podcasting and YouTube circles. But I mean, I feel like
the movies themselves.
Yeah, I feel
have
like
an element to them that has never been done.
I feel like our actual analysis probably added something to it, but this movie, this is something that we're going to nerd out on a little bit because this is a great cult martial arts exploitation movie. It's incredibly gory and incredibly just out there. It's batshit insanity. And if you haven't guessed it yet, ladies and gentlemen, that is Lam Gai Kai's 1990 martial arts film, Riki-Oh, The Story of Ricky. I mean, this movie is just a great joy to watch in so many ways. Like so many of the movies that we've done before, like I don't want to call this like the Room of martial arts movies because I don't think that it's necessarily bad. But I mean, it's definitely just as quotable and it's definitely just as cheesy, and except the plot, while sometimes a little nonsensical, it's a lot more coherent than The Room.
And I think that this movie, in the ways that it's bad, it's kind of intentional.
In
a way similar to Hectic Knife or Freddy Got Fingered,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
Very much of it was
Trauma
intentional.
Universe, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, it does have, there is kind of a trauma feel to it. This is what would happen if Trauma made a straight martial arts movie.
Exactly.
Of course, I'm sure you can argue that Hectic Knife is what happens when you make a straight martial arts art house movie.
Well, and it's not like there's not other movies like this, but I mean, I've seen Kung Fu Hustle, which isn't nearly as gory, but definitely on the same scope of absurdity.
Oh, certainly, yeah. And a lot of this absurdity and comedy throughout this movie is kind of unintentional, though. I mean, this definitely was a movie that was made to make an actual statement about private prisons and whatnot. And we'll get to how pertinent that point is near the end of the episode, but I mean, it still gets overshadowed by just the sheer ridiculousness of it all.
I think a lot of that comes from the fact that it was adapted from a manga.
Oh, yeah.
Normally,
definitely.
when you see this kind of stuff in a manga or an anime, it doesn't strike you as much because you're watching manga or anime. But when you see live action characters do it, it's just so much more absurd. And I think that's really what makes this movie great is that it when I was watching it, I definitely felt like I was reading a manga. I felt like some of these scenes probably were taken right out of it and adapted straight. I don't know if either of you have read the manga. I haven't.
No, I haven't found the manga anywhere. I mean, I'm sure it's available in some online sources, but I've never come across it at like Barnes and Nobles or Half Price Books or anything like that. But
I'd be interested to see how close it is to the source material.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, usually with manga adaptations, it can get a little dicey sometimes. I mean, Takashi Miike, he made a pretty decent one with Ichi the Killer, which we'll be getting into in the next season.
Yeah,
by
we
the way.
can't forget how good that Dragon Ball movie was.
You think the Dragon Ball movie was great?
It was
good?
No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I mean,
I was about to take you at face value, bro. Like, seriously. It's like,
Dragon Ball movie.
really?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball? Seriously?
A boy with a special power. Born with the strength of 20 men. He was sent to a correctional facility where the laws of survival take precedence over the laws of man. Only the strongest will come out alive. The story of Riki.
But this movie is leagues above Dragon Ball as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, definitely.
And I recall the movie review we saw on YouTube. I forget who it was. He said that this is probably the closest thing we got to an actual Mortal Kombat movie. Like, would y'all agree with that statement?
Mortal Kombat done the way that it was supposed to be done,
Yeah.
R-rated.
Or rated, yeah, you're right.
I mean, the Mortal Kombat movie itself, that it definitely has the spirit of the actual game, but
It's
without,
awesome in its own way.
it's awesome in its own way. Yeah, I love
I mean,
watching
the guy
that
does
movie.
look like Liu Kang. I mean, come on, look at him.
Oh, certainly. But
Riki-Oh, the story of Liu Kang.
There you
Riki-Oh,
go.
the story of Liu
There you
Kang.
go.
Exactly. That's pretty much what this is. It's like, this is what would happen if Liu Kang was sent to prison.
Hmm.
Like, straight up.
Is this after Annihilation or before Annihilation? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Probably,
I
this
try,
is a prequel.
I try to forget that Annihilation was ever a thing.
Exactly.
Like, to tell the truth, I tend to forget that, but and this movie is 20 times better than that as
This
well.
movie's badass. I love the art.
Yeah. Now we're going to go ahead and get into a quick summary of this movie, just to kind of give everybody an idea of, if you haven't seen this movie, of what's going on here. And Ashley Chancellor, he's going to give us the summary. Ash, where are you getting this from? This is from IMDb?
This is the IMDb description
All
summary.
right. All right, go ahead and take it away.
So on IMDb, Riki-Oh, the story of Riki. A young man with superhuman strength is incarcerated at a prison run by corrupt officials and seeks to use his martial arts to clean up the system.
Yeah, and that's a pretty succinct summary, if a little brief, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say his intention from the beginning was to clean up the system, but he definitely does.
Yeah, it's more like Riki is just coming from that traditional sense of justice that so many lead characters in these type of movies tend to believe in, you know?
Well, it's weird because when he first gets incarcerated, he could have broken out of that jail at any time.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel
Easily.
like, and some people, I think the review we watched, he kept arguing about why didn't Riki break out early enough? Well, I want to say that was intentional on the director's part to kind of portray this character as someone who's allowing himself to be taken in by the justice system,
Yeah.
you know. But when he really found out how corrupt, you know, this shit was.
yeah. He had to do something about
He had
it.
to do something
you know?
about it.
And I agree with that. I mean, I think that's a huge part of Riki's character is like temperance. It's like, I mean, he's a very temperate person.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Right, Robert?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you hear anything in the background, that's Robert's dog. She's whining. She's
Our Collateral Cinema mascot.
yeah, our official Collateral Cinema mascot is a little Chihuahua dog, of course.
Yeah, I tried to get her hired at Taco Bell, but that didn't pull through.
And then this is as opposed to the Chihuahua dog that probably have heard in the background in previous episodes. That was my mother's dog.
You got a Chihuahua too? You got like a teacup?
Oh man,
This one's a toy.
Our mascot really should be a Chihuahua then.
dude, that would be perfect. That would be a perfect like full-on logo.
You know
or
what
something
would be
like that.
badass if Max was a bulldog? Too.
Yeah, that would be
Like
cool.
half-
That'd be cool as fuck, man. But this is definitely a movie that is incredibly exploitative at its very core. I mean, it's up there with the greats, like Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left that Wes Craven made, and
Craven.
Pieces and Torso and Snuff. It's definitely kind of up there, but it's applied to a martial arts context, which makes it very unique and it stands apart from other movies of its era,
Can you explain what that means exactly? Exploitation?
Exploitation is pretty much a genre that really focuses on ramping up the sex and violence and gore to usually to ridiculous levels,
The way Wes Craven used to do it, sorry.
Yeah, and also,
The
like
late, great Wes Craven.
and the late great H.G. Lewis,
Yeah.
Herschel Gordon Lewis. He was also a huge exploitation, and also Ruggero Deodato. He made Cannibal Holocaust. That's a prime example of an exploitation movie.
That title in and of itself.
And I Spit on Your Grave. That's another example.
Yeah, you have that film.
Yeah. And a lot of them tend to be pretty extreme examples of cinema, and this is no small example of that. Honestly,
Sex, drugs, and violence. America.
Although
That's what
this
people
doesn't,
want.
although this doesn't have a whole lot of sex in it.
They want Brad Pitt, though.
No, I'm just saying in general, though.
In fact, this is a pretty chaste movie.
Neither
actually.
is American.
Wouldn't y'all say this is a pretty chaste movie? There's not a whole lot of sexuality in it.
There really
No,
isn't.
it's
There's a
kept
lot
to
of-
a minimum.
there's a lot of boss
definitely have
fighting,
their focus
you know?
on the violence.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a bunch of boss fights,
It's like
right?
go to another level. There's another boss. There's another boss.
Right. There's like a bunch of sub-level bosses, like Homeboy that attacks the salary man in the shower. Like, what was that guy's name?
Oh man.
Oh man.
This movie was for the little boy in all of us.
Oh yeah, it's for the little boy in all of us, and it was for the anime fan in all of us.
Yes.
Because live action manga /
I feel
anime.
like watching Dragon Ball Z now again.
Yeah, I feel like watching Fist of the North Star. See, that's another thing. This is the closest we get to a live action Fist of the North Star as well.
This does remind me of like a Bruce Lee film out of the 70s, though, too. Right?
Yeah, but Bruce Lee would never have gone to these extremes. His movies
No.
were never exploitative like this.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, it's not martial arts exploitation, and
But
this
did
is
you ever see those shirtless scenes and think Bruce Lee?
Oh, definitely.
It's,
Yeah, I mean,
it's the dragon.
yeah, Ricky is totally shirtless in most all this movie. Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of more of
You
an
know who
art.
could beat this guy? Van Damme could do it.
You think Van Damme
Rob
could do
Van
it?
Damme can do this.
He beat Bolo Young. He could beat
In his
this dude.
world, yeah, Van Damme whooped this guy's ass.
Kumite, Kumite,
Kumite.
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 Man, this movie should have had a Kumite. Dude, it should have had an inmate Kumite. Wouldn't that have been crazy?
So you throw Steven Seagal and
Oh,
Van
that's-
Damme, all of them in this film, would be great.
That's right. Ash doesn't know what Kumite is.
I don't know what Kumite is.
You
know,
haven't seen
Blood Fight?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport, not Bloodfight. It's another film, sorry.
No, this is Bloodsport with Van Damme and Bolo Young.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a fantastic
I
movie.
know who Van Damme is.
Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude.
Yeah, he is
Not
the
Rod Van
greatest.
Damme, the wrestler, the ECW wrestler.
I know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh man, can't wait to get to some of his
All I
movies.
can think about is Sense8 when I think of Van Damme, though.
Sensei.
Man.
Yeah,
Sudden impact.
definitely, man.
It's rained for 7 days. The ground's wet and cold, I bet.
If the bastard's still alive, he must be a superhero.
Hey!
Ricky! Oh no!
Ricky!
Oh God!
Ricky!
He's dead! But wait a second! Wait!
Hey, he's not dead.
But this movie gained a cult status pretty quickly, and a lot of that can be attributed to the early Daily Show when Craig Kilborne was running that series. He had a segment called The 5 Questions where he would ask his guests just a bunch of random questions, and the graphic that would play, or the theme song that would lead into this segment, it would have that moment where Tarzan, the big dude, one of the members of the Gang of Four, straight up just smashes that dude's head just with one clap of his hand.
Fatality kill, Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
style.
it's a straight Mortal Kombat fatality.
Jesus Christ.
and it's teased on the front of the box.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah, they actually make that like one of the focal points on the original DVD release. Because otherwise, I mean, how the fuck would anybody recognize what this movie was?
The head smashing scene that made it famous.
Yeah, and just that alone kind of piqued interest in the movie, and people started to seek it out, especially when it was released on DVD. And since then, it's gotten quite a cult following to the point where it's free on YouTube. You can watch pretty much the whole movie, and it's on Shudder. It's on Shudder's Extreme section, which it's like, I mean, that's notable right there. Because I mean, Shudder, they provide a lot of different genres of horror and exploitation and just dark cinema all around. And to see Riki-Oh on that, I mean, that's just joyous. That's pure joy. But man, the gore scenes in this movie, oh man. I mean, I've seen some pretty fucked up shit in my day, man. I've seen Dead Alive. I've seen Evil Dead. I've watched High Tension. I've watched all kinds of fucked up shit, but this movie right here, it's pretty much like if Peter Jackson made a fucking martial arts exploitation movie. Like, I know you haven't seen it, Ash, but Robert has seen Dead Alive.
Yeah.
I showed that movie to him.
Yeah, I've actually watched it twice, I think, and yeah, that movie mind fucked me.
Yeah, that movie is hilarious, right?
I want to watch it again too.
But that movie is also a movie that has literally geysers of blood just spewing all over the place, you know, much like Evil Dead. And the gore is very comparable to all of that. It's all practical effects. It's very gushy, very cheesy. It kind of has a little bit of a Lucio Fulci vibe sometimes, you know? Like, I don't know if y'all know who Fulci was. He was an Italian director, and he was seen as the godfather of gore.
No.
And a lot of the gore in this movie kind of reminds me of that. It reminds me of that a lot. But the scenes with all the gore, there are so many of them, man. Like, of course, we talked about the most notable one, the head exploding scene that was used in the Daily Show. But the fight with Oscar, which kind of precedes that scene, that one is a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, that's what I referenced earlier. He cuts his stomach open, seppuku.
Yeah, commits seppuku, yeah.
And then attempts to strangle Ricky with his own guts.
Oh, that is so great. I love that, man. And then
got a lot of guts, Oscar.
Oh, the deputy warden. Oh man, I love that so much. It's such a perfect yet so obvious choice of dialogue right there. You know.
I wonder if that was added in later in the dub, or if that was in the original Japanese.
I don't know. I don't think it's Japanese.
Or sorry, not Japanese.
It's Chinese, I believe.
Chinese. The actors are Chinese.
Some of the actors are Japanese.
Some of them are. Okay.
Yeah, the guy who played Oscar is definitely a Japanese person.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, he's Yakuza. I mean, he has that back tattoo and everything. That's typically what Yakuza are shown to have in movies.
I was scrolling through the actor names, and they all definitely sounded Chinese, but maybe he was, Japanese.
Yeah, he was definitely Japanese. But, I mean, that fight is just very noticeable. The fight with Zorro in the shower, that is great, man.
Mm-hmm. That was the first one.
Yeah, if a little one-sided, right? Mm-hmm. It's very one-sided because Ricky pretty much ends it with one punch.
One punch.
Oh yeah, One Punch Man.
That's what my brother said. He said that he's basically the One Punch Man.
He's One Punch Man. Exactly. And that's exactly who this guy is. He could literally kill anybody with one punch.
Live action Saitama.
Superman. Yeah, he doesn't even have to like touch somebody to hurt them either. Like there's a scene with Deputy Warden, which we're actually at right now, where he goes to punch the Deputy Warden. He just stops right in front of him.
And it makes his nose bleed.
Yeah, it makes his nose bleed. And the Deputy Warden remarks, he's just like, he can hurt people without touching them.
He's in sage mode.
Oh, yeah, total sage mode.
Got to make obligatory anime references this episode.
Yeah, bring on the Naruto memes or
Riki.
jokes. Riki!
Okay.
Riki! Someone gave me 30 pounds of rice to finish you off and turn you into mincemeat and put you in a pie.
Think you can do it?
Zorro, get him! I'm betting on you!
Stop fighting! He's a killer! Another move and I'll hit you!
The final fight with the Warden. Oh my God, man. That is the greatest thing ever.
Where he hulks out like Lou Ferrigno. What the hell, dude?
Oh man, it's one of the greatest transformations ever. It's so latexy and so
Gamma
weird.
radiation, dude.
His arms start extending. His face is just like, it's literally just somebody pushing something against this latex face or whatever. It's cheesy practical effects, but it's awesome as well. I mean, it's just so awesomely campy.
Yeah. I like how he holds up the Warden's head later on as if anybody could recognize him in that state.
Yeah, no shit. It's like, who has really seen him in this Hulk state?
Fatality.
Right.
Yeah,
And
fatality.
It just comes out of nowhere. He says, I know Kung Fu too, and then transforms into
Then he
this
morphs,
thing like that
yeah.
has anything to
Oh.
do with it.
Like
Not
one of
just-
Rita's monsters or something.
Yeah, not just, Rita Repulsa's monsters. Oh, damn right, man. It's totally Power Rangers. If there was a gory Power Rangers, this would be it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, totally. But, I mean, there's a lot that happens in that final fight. I mean, that's where both Rogan and Brandon, two of the Gang of Four, the last remaining ones, they're actually killed in that fight.
It was actually odd. I kept expecting for this movie to go in a way in which he would defeat each of the gang members one by one.
Yeah.
And yet they kept attacking him together after Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that they didn't go that way because, I mean, that's kind of typically how a lot of shonen anime kind of goes.
That's
A
what
lot
I
of-
was thinking. After he defeated Oscar, he defeat them one by one. But I'm kind of happy with the way it turned out anyway.
Yeah, the fight with Tarzan is kind of like that. You know, he
Uh-huh.
literally just, his final fight with Tarzan, he just blows through that cell door or the cell wall. And that ends up with like another little fatality device, you know? Like that ceiling that's coming down on top of them to crush them.
Terminator 2 style.
Straight up,
the
man, that-
first Terminator. Yeah.
That's also kind of Mortal Kombat-ish again, you know?
Yeah.
It's like one of those stage fatalities.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're right.
Or like Eternal Champions, they had those types of fatalities in them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if y'all ever played Eternal Champions on Sega Genesis. Y'all didn't play Eternal Champions?
No, I didn't really.
Dude, that video game is crazy. That video game is really interesting when it comes to fatalities, man. Like, really, really, really interesting. But there's also a lot of random inmate deaths throughout this movie as well.
Like right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's that little device right there.
Like right now, that one bald dude who is accused of being a snitch is like, in the end, he gets his head literally knocked off by Ricky, just randomly, just literally the top half of his head.
Oh god, yeah, that was great art. Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was fantastic. You know, the brain matter coming out, like that was really, really awesome practical effects right there. If a little cheesy, but still, it looked pretty real. I mean, you gotta say at least that much.
Special effects are great.
And then there's Oscar's godson, who they just decide to skin, you know, because he refuses to kill Ricky. I mean, I felt really bad for him.
I know. This poor guy has had everything bad done to him. He got his tongue cut out, got skinned alive.
Saw his godfather get completely obliterated.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that he actually accepted Riki after that was pretty cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that. It showed that he was really forgiving. He was really actually kind of maybe innocent in some ways. Like I mean, why would somebody like that even be in prison, I wonder?
Why was the old man in the beginning in the prison?
I remember them explaining, the old man that hangs himself, you mean?
Yeah.
I remember them explaining that it was because he was rushing his wife to the hospital and he got into an accident which killed a cop.
Whoa.
Okay.
Apparently no mercy is given to that in any way,
Well,
especially over there.
isn't it possible that too, because the prison system is privatized, they were attempting to show that people could get arrested for almost any reason because it makes money for the prison.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like now. It's just, except typically it's drugs that leads to that.
Yep.
You know. But yeah, I mean, that's another very sympathetic character, the old man at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Now,
That
what
was
was
very sad. He gets his face literally sliced open by what are that those
What
tools
was
called?
that thing?
It was one of those like a lathe or something like that.
I wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, like the top
It's
half of his nose.
It's a wood, it was some
gone.
type of
Damn.
woodworking tool.
Now, one thing that was odd is why did Riki mourn over him? At first, I thought maybe they were trying to say that this was his father, and when he pulled the train out of his own shirt, I thought that's where they were going, but then they ended up not because he ends up visiting his father's grave in a flashback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just goes to show how utterly empathetic Riki is.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's very much your typical lone wolf warrior who fights for justice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he fills that role, but in many ways he exceeds it. You know, because he's essentially a superhero as well.
Right. And what's funny is in the initial exposition, you see Riki and they say he's in for manslaughter. He says he received these bullets as souvenirs. And so he's kind of portrayed as this hard character. But as the film progresses, you start to see, you know, that he is your typical soft-hearted shonen protagonist.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially the way that he treats Oscar's godson. You know, like showing him how to use the leaves for a flute and everything, and then just giving him his flute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's because if you recall, Riki was a music student before he started learning the martial art that he makes him so strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a music academy student.
A superhuman music academy student.
Superhuman. He
starts-
became superhuman. And that definitely helps out when his girlfriend is unfortunately killed in a very odd manner. Right, Robert?
Yeah. Old Hollywood style.
Oh man, like she comes across a bunch of people dealing heroin to a bunch of junkies. They capture her, and instead of what you think is going to happen, which is, you know, rape, she just straight freaks out, runs up the stairs, runs to the top of the building, and just jumps off to her death. And oh man, that scene is so cool.
Swan dive, dude. Right off the
Swan
top.
dive, and then the dummy. It's like, oh, the poor dummy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my god, man.
There's that diamond
No
dust.
dummies were harmed in the making of this film.
No, well, that one was definitely
That one
harmed.
was
It was thrown off
definitely
of a fucking roof. I mean, shit. It was thrown off a goddamn building. Man, the way that the deputy warden meets his demise is pretty noticeable because he gets shot by the warden's gun, which has this really interesting effect. It forces him to expand with gas.
Gas bullet.
Akira
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, he straight up just blows up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the coolest thing in the entire movie, man.
That was really awesome.
Yeah. Next to what happens to the warden, which there was so much blood that was geysering out of that food processor at the end that Riki uses to chop the warden up, that the actors couldn't wash it off for days. They couldn't wash the fake blood off. They had to walk around with red blood all over their
Red
skin.
dye all over you.
Oh, man.
Look really hard. If anybody messes with you in the street, just stand there.
Oh, shit. I mean, just what he did to the drug dealer that led to his girlfriend's
Right.
death. I mean, he literally caved the dude's head in with one punch.
Now, I wanted to see him punish the warden's kid.
Yeah, the warden's kid kind of gets away with his shit. Oh, man, I hate that character. Oh, God.
Ghost
I
is
was
cool.
waiting for him to be brutally murdered.
Oh, I wish he was. I wish he was thrown into that damn food processor.
I actually thought that's what was going to happen.
That would have been hilarious, right?
Uh-huh.
Or if he would have got shot by the gas bullet accidentally. That would have
Right.
been hilarious. Like Like the warden goes to shoot him, and instead Riki misses, and it hits his son.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would have hooked up after that. That would have been amazing, right?
Definitely.
Oh my God. Yeah, but he makes a slurry out of the warden, straight up.
Riki-Oh, let's see if you can deal with me. You think you're real tough? I'm a lot tougher than you think. The warden of any prison has to be the very best in Kung Fu. Now see for yourself. Riki, come on, show me what you've got. Your strength doesn't even come close to mine.
And Rogan's death is notable as well because I should say she, because that is a woman that's playing Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And makes a very, very pretty man. It's like either a very ugly woman or a very pretty man. You know?
It's like what they all used for the Power Rangers in the 70s, right? Maybe.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something to that effect. But yeah, man, fuck that little kid, man. He should have been thrown in with the warden.
Uh-huh.
He should have fell in with the chocolate.
Yeah. Or met Brandon's demise, which was to be shot in the ass with a gas bullet, which is not pleasant given what happened to the deputy warden. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys. I mean, like I said, I can only compare this to stuff like Peter Jackson's Dead Alive or Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. I mean, there is a very Sam Raimi vibe to this kind of, right?
I could say that.
Yeah, definitely,
Evil
especially with
Dead, the first one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the very first, and even the second one. You know, the second one is definitely
Bruce Campbell.
notable. Yeah, of course, Bruce Campbell.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell retired that Ash character recently.
Yeah, we're like season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's retiring that character.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
sad. You know, when I tell people my name, I always wait for them to make an Evil Dead reference instead of a Pokemon reference for once.
Pokemon, Ash.
But it's always Pokemon, right?
It's almost always Pokemon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was about to say, where's Misty? Where's Brock? Right?
Yeah, right. Where's Misty and Brock? we can find a Misty and a Brock.
We'll
Hey,
find them.
Robert can be Brock. No.
No.
I could see it.
Oh, come on, man. You could totally make
Should
a
be
great Brock.
that guy from Saved by the Bell.
Oh my God. Now, the actual martial arts action in this movie, like, how do y'all think it stands up to other comparable movies of the genre, like the giants of that genre, like the Shaw Brothers movies, the Bruce Lee movies, going all the way up to the Toei films? Like, how do y'all think that stands up to it?
You know what? I'm just seeing this for like the second time too, and I don't know. The One-Armed Swordsman, I don't know if you ever seen that movie.
I think I have seen it.
It was
actually.
he only had one arm.
Yeah.
Fighting up like 12 dudes with one arm and one sword. Like, jeez.
Yeah. That action is definitely comparable to this, if a little more period-centric.
Yes, yeah, I've never seen anything like this. Yeah.
Especially given that there's supposed to be some social commentary at the core of this movie. I mean, it makes it really stand out from other films of that era and of that genre. I mean, a lot of martial arts movies of that time, especially in the martial arts exploitation genre, like, they were very focused on more period pieces, you know? Like, it was always like ancient China, or even China going up to like the 1900s or something like that. And in many ways, it's still like that.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, and even recently, like the Ong Bak movies and the Ip Man movies.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those are still very centric to that type of period.
And this one is 10 years in the future.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be in 2001. That's when this movie happens, and I guess it's close enough.
Close enough.
I mean, this movie was made in 1990. It's like that's a good 11 years.
1990.
I mean, shit. I mean it was close enough to 2000 that people were starting to get ready for it, but far enough that people could still speculate a little bit, you know, as to what was going to happen. But of course, you know, the whole Y2K thing.
Yeah,
oh,
I was
God.
going to say Y2K. But
Yeah, then that happened. Oh, that was a portent for so much bullshit. When y'all say
the world's going to end every 10 years.
Yeah, then there was the whole Mayan apocalypse thing.
Yeah, see, we lived through that already. What was
yeah.
that, 2012?
2012, yeah.
They made a movie about it, John Cusack.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man.
Okay, so a bunch of naked guys drew up a calendar, ran out of space, and eventually decided to stop, but that means the end of the world.
No, it just means that they needed to start another calendar.
Yeah,
That's literally all it
eventually they were going to stop somewhere, right?
That's funny because I am Aztec Mayan too. Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Use that Los Aztecas.
Yeah, my
Los Aztecas way.
Great grandmother. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Great grandmother.
That is what is
full
up.
Aztec Indian. Yeah.
And we already mentioned that this is a manga adaptation. Like, and Ash, you're pretty much our resident anime and manga guy. Connoisseur. Like, how do you think this stands up to other manga and anime inspired movies?
This one actually works.
Yeah, this one definitely works because, I mean, it actually kind of keeps real reverence to its source material.
Right, and I've never read the manga.
Yeah.
But this movie is fucking awesome on its own.
Yeah,
which is something that can't be said about the Dragon Ball movie.
No.
I mean, Ghost in the Shell was okay. Full Metal Alchemist was okay. But this movie is fucking great.
I never saw the Full Metal Alchemist live action movie.
It's something you enjoyed.
It was actually pretty all right.
Really?
It was a little odd seeing the characters portrayed and seeing their expressions in live action. It sometimes doesn't translate over well.
Yeah.
But other than that, it stayed pretty close to the source material, and I thought it had it was a good spin on the story.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know, it was okay. You know, then there was the Death Note movie, the American one. That one was awful.
I haven't seen that one either. They're actually trying to make a sequel to that.
They're making a sequel. I mean, it was interesting in its own way that it tried to portray, and that one also was an exploitation film.
Yeah,
all the way, which is weird because the original Death Note manga was never like that. It
not really.
In and of itself,
no.
It was just an intellectual story.
Like even when it could have become kind of exploitative, it kind of veered away from that. You know?
It took itself too seriously for that. It was more just dark, but not not exploitative.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love the original manga and the original anime of that, but I mean, even so, I mean, that's not a series that gets especially gory though.
No, not at all.
Now when it comes to straight up gore, you know, a good example would be like a lot of the horror stuff like Parasite, you know, stuff like that. And also old school stuff like Ninja Scroll and Vampire Hunter D. Like when I think of gory anime, that's what I think of, man. That's the old school shit. Another great gory anime, of course, is Akira.
Yes.
Man. Oh, that's great. Tetsuo! And that was supposed to get a live action adaptation at some point, but
it's in development hell right now.
You know, it's totally in development hell because nobody knows how to make a good anime movie other than this is the best anime movie there is right here, probably.
Yeah,
like
they
arguably.
need to look at
Lam
Gai Kai.
Yeah, I don't recall what happened to his career. I think he made a few more movies in Hong Kong and then just kind of faded away. I may be wrong. He may have had an actual career. I mean, I think we should have probably looked that up, but Ash. The English dub, like that's interesting stuff right there.
The English dub really adds to the experience of the movie as a whole.
It does. It really elevates it from just a regular gory movie with some cheesy dialogue to something even better, you know? Kind of like how the dialogue in The Room kind of makes that movie a little better.
Right. The quotable scenes and dialogue.
And there are some quotable scenes in here, like when he's going through the inmate processing, and they find the bullets inside of him. It's like, why did you let the doctors take the 5 bullets out of your chest? And he's like, souvenirs. It's like,
And the guts quote.
yeah, the guts quote is perfect.
I hear that Ricky's fighting with Oscar over there.
Has anyone been killed yet?
Come on, let's go! Hey, Ricky!
Come on, Ricky. You can do it, man. Come on. So you can still see, but your right arm's crippled. You're still a goner.
What's he doing?
It's a damn miracle. Ricky, you're all right.
Oscar, don't do this to yourself.
We'll die together.
All right, you got a lot of guts, Oscar.
If I don't kill you, you won't quit, will you?
There is also the warden, is like every warden in every prison should know kung fu.
Warden of a prison must know kung fu. I think it was something like that.
The Longest Yard and Cool Hand Luke mixed with a Japanese film.
Yeah, with lots of gore and violence and Sam Raimi.
There you go.
Yeah, that's pretty close to what it is.
What's interesting is that I watched 1 hour and 25 minutes of this movie in English dub, but then the last bit of it, I got to kind of see the original version with subtitles, and that's because the version I was watching cut off after 1 hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I watched another video, and my brother and I decided to just go ahead and watch it in the original, and it was interesting to compare the two. It was still kind of great, but I'm really glad that I watched this movie 90% in English dub, because that really is part of the experience.
And it's one of the rare examples of an English dub actually making its source material better.
Right. And what's funny is that, as a result of Americanizing the movie, they changed some of the character names. So you have like white sounding names like Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon randomly. Tarzan, Rogan, and Brandon.
Even the Gang of Four was originally the Four Heavenly Kings, which is a reference to Japanese mythology, I believe.
Yeah, it is, I believe.
So they had to change it to Gang of Four.
It's more of a Shinto thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. And Gang of Four, that's kind of a trope in its own right. There's always like 4 big bads that you got to take on, in these types of movies. It kind of works itself out, I think.
What about that man-girl Superman punch?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Homegirl or home
dude.
Home fry.
Is she supposed to portray a male character, or?
No, yeah, that's supposed to be a male character.
Okay.
And in the dub, he's male.
Right.
But that's played by a woman.
See, we get to see the slow-mo.
Yeah, there's that random effect, editing effect that comes up to signify his death punch.
Liu Kang.
And I mean, for a second there, it looks like it does some damage to Ricky, and Ricky's just all like, his kung fu is unorthodox.
Extraordinary.
It's extraordinary.
See, I can do that on Snapchat really easily.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah,
Seriously?
you just shake your phone a little bit.
Really?
You got that
You'll
mirror.
do that? Like, seriously?
Within a mirror thing.
I don't do a whole lot of Snapchat, so is that something that's real?
Oh yeah, you just shake it up a little bit while you're taking a photo. You can get that effect real easily.
Oh, that's crazy.
Okay, you gotta look into that just for the camera work. Yeah.
I mean, it's the Snapchat. That's like a social media thing,
Never
right?
been on it. Yeah.
I was on it briefly. It's okay, I guess. You know?
It's how you send nudes to people.
Yeah, pretty much that's what people use it for.
Or goofy pictures.
Yeah.
Goofy pictures.
Don't send a dick pic until you've had a tit pic first. That's the rule of thumb.
Wow, that's sage advice, Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for telling us that.
Oh,
That's great.
You're welcome.
Wonderful.
I thought it was like nipple first and then dick and the butt.
I can't wait till your girlfriend hears this.
Hey, she's chilling out in here with us. I mean, she just went outside, but
Yeah.
shout out to my homegirl Lillian.
Yeah, what's up, Lillian? She's not here.
She's outside.
She's outside, but she was chilling with us for most of the podcast, just listening in. So
Yeah.
got to see that behind the scenes thing.
She supports all this too, right? She likes this.
I hope so.
Oh,
Yeah,
she definitely likes the podcast.
Yeah, she's definitely follows us.
I know your
on-
brother wants to be on one day. I mean,
He wants to be on, but he just, I don't know, I guess he's busy.
Oh man, we'll get him on the podcast.
Busy
Yeah,
playing.
Dakota Chancellor, he has a lot to say about movies like this.
Fortnite is better than this.
He had a
Fortnite.
lot to say. Yeah, that's basically all he does is Fortnite.
There you
Oh
go.
wow. Yep, on the fork knife.
But what's funny is I'm glad you mentioned him because he and I watched this movie together, and I can give you a little bit of his commentary.
Yeah. Do
We
so.
just watched this last night, and what's funny is he's watched As the Gods Will before, which I haven't seen, and he compared it to that. But what's funny is I don't think he had nearly as positive an opinion about it.
Oh yeah.
I think he was watching it and he's like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
But immediately fell in love with it, right, too.
He gave me a pretty glowing review when
He
I
did?
saw him at work.
When he was
Yeah.
watching it, it was just so funny because he was just so surprised by it. He was like, "This is like As the Gods Will, but it's like shitty quality."
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I mean, by no means is
And
the
it doesn't
cinematography.
take itself seriously.
Yeah, by no means is the cinematography in this movie like anything to really talk about, honestly. I mean, I'm sure in the restored version that was released recently, it's probably a lot better. I'm sure. There's better color grading and everything.
I would
What's
think,
funny is in the first one I watched, the link you sent me,
Yeah.
which was an English dub, which was only cut off at an hour and 25 minutes. It was really shitty quality, but then when I watched the other version,
Yeah.
it was actually Dakota and I both was like, "Whoa," because we could actually kind of see what was going on and hear better.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Yeah, we had to color correct our TV, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we had to color correct it.
It was,
so
too,
that we
it was
can-
too bright and everything was a little
Oh man, it
off.
was so overexposed and everything. It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
ugh.
actually it was. The HD was overexposed too.
Yeah, it looked terrible. But I mean, now we have it fixed and we can see every gory detail. Even some of the lighting here is actually kind of cool, man. It has that kind of neon quality to it. Like, yeah, this is the scene where they're trying to fight Ricky after he burned down the poppy field that they were growing. Yeah, they're straight up growing opium.
Opium.
And Rogan is just like, all my hard work down the drain. That's funny. His voice actor still gives him a very feminine sounding voice, you know? That's what's funny about that. It's still a chick and she still gets a feminine sounding male
Pretty
voice.
much makes fun of itself, pretty much.
Oh, this movie makes fun of itself in so many ways. I mean, it's so
Like,
delirious.
I want to watch Kung Pao again after this. Yeah.
Dude, Kung Pao is another great movie that's kind of audacious yet really interesting. You know, it's not gory like this or
No,
anything,
but just hilarious.
but it's pure silly insanity.
2001,
Yeah.
1999, hilarious.
Too bad
Shit.
he never made a sequel to that. Right?
Yeah, I don't think so. Right? No.
It's because he can't really find any more footage that used those actors in that particular movie that he used as the basis for it.
But you know what apparently did have a sequel?
What's that?
Riki-Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
I
This
haven't seen
movie-
it.
This movie had a sequel that just doesn't really follow this movie at all. I mean, I think it's still pretty gory, but I mean, I think even that's kind of scaled back a little bit. It doesn't have the same characters. It doesn't have the same actors. It doesn't even happen in a prison.
So it's kind of like Spider-Man 3. It's better. You're better off not watching it and just
Yeah.
watching the first or the first two.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, shit. This movie, I mean, I could watch it over and over again, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have it going on in the background right now, as we are wont to do. And yeah, Ricky escapes a goddamn cement room, a room that's filling up with wet cement. and he gets it all over him, and that's how they capture him.
And then later on, when it dries, he just freaking flexes.
It's like, why didn't you just do that?
And
It's like, yeah,
breaks it off.
the YouTube review we watched before this, they constantly pointed that out. It's like, why don't you just end this right now?
Basically,
Right now.
like Hancock just wanting to see if he can stay in captivity. Right?
Yeah, seriously. Like, even near the end, whenever he bashes down that wall, it's like,
You could have done that in the beginning.
Yeah, could have just done that in the beginning. Just flexed, took out a few guards, ran up, go wah, and then everybody would have just been free.
Do you guys think it was interesting how in just that punch he has this strange color effect with his punch?
Of a Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah, man, his punch is ridiculous. It had that fire for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene very briefly where when he's learning his martial art, where he's meditating and there's a little fiery glow to him. You know, that's pretty cool. And also that one effect when he finally kills Oscar, when he throws him up in the air and punches him in the face.
That reminded me of some of the later Mortal Kombat fatalities in
Oh,
later
certainly.
games.
That X-ray shot, right? When
Yeah,
he punched him,
right.
dude.
Definitely, man. It's very reminiscent of that. Makes you almost wonder if Mortal Kombat stole that from it.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they didn't, but, you know, it kind of makes you wonder.
Mortal Kombat was like 1995, 1996, right?
Yeah, it would have came out quite a few years after this.
In the arcade games after that. Right?
That is a good point. It's like, how much of this movie influenced Mortal Kombat?
I did not realize that. No.
It makes me wonder if Boone and Tobias actually like wanted to reference this
No.
movie a little bit. Like, what do you think, Robert?
I don't know.
It's an interesting theory.
It is.
A film theory.
Aw. Yeah, the film theory is pretty cool. I like film theory. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Rogan's kung fu is unorthodox. I've hit your dead spot. You'll soon be a dead man. One loses best just before dying, especially a man like you. But let me tell you, you ran against a lot of people by burning up my work. The Master, for one, will not let you go.
Riki, try harder now. You can defeat death.
No wonder everyone's been saying that you're a demon. You can even overcome my deadly strike. But even if you think you're safe right now, you will not be able to make it through the night.
And as we said before, this movie is very prophetic when it comes to the prison industrial complex. I mean, this is a movie where the prison is shown as inherently corrupt. The guards give no shits whatsoever about anything. The goddamn deputy warden is eating a feast while the inmates are eating shit, pretty much.
He's kind of the ringleader of this charge against Riki. He fully supports it. He watches the Saw scene.
Yeah.
He watches, was it Oscar? Yeah, Oscar saw this dude's face and says nothing. And then there's the scene with the old man. Oh, the old man, and he's just old, and he got clumsy and fell.
Yeah, exactly. And the guard just brushes it off like it's nothing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He ran into a woodworking tool that should not even be in a shower altogether. And then a board with nails shows up, and that's what Riki trips homeboy into. That's funny, right?
That was funny shit.
That was great. Just out of nowhere, just a fucking board with nails.
It was just there on the floor. That's the first point, I think, where Dakota was just like, what the fuck?
It just appeared out of nowhere.
He put out his
Half the things in this movie just appear out of nowhere. I mean, there's that floor spike thing. Riki pulls the train out of his shirt somehow. The model train.
A model train that we saw destroyed earlier.
Right. And then there's the saw. Where was he hiding that? Up his ass?
Only God forgives.
I know, right?
Dude. Only God forgives. Could know that.
Yeah, right? Saw. Yeah, just like Only God Forgives. Homeboy, like,
you know
God just takes out his swords.
There you go. What are you referencing when you do that, right? I mean,
right? I don't know if Refn was referencing that in that movie, but
you know,
who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this happens in the same region of the world. Once again, Ash, you don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking
Only
about.
God Forgives with Ryan Gosling. You'll love it. Yeah.
You will know.
Ryan Gosling, all right.
You will know, Ash. You will certainly know.
You will.
But yeah, I mean, this pretty much shows how prisons are here in America. I mean, we have that kind of system, and there's a great deal of people who are disproportionately incarcerated right now, especially people of color.
Careful, don't want to get into politics, Beau.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Billions.
No, but
this
you're
movie-
right.
This
You're
movie
100%
has
right.
this movie has a little bit of a political core to it.
Right.
You know, I mean, it pretty much anticipated this whole industrial complex like Natch. You know?
Halfway across the world.
Yeah, halfway across the world, it pretty much got it correct. Like, I mean, this is a prison that's pretty much sanctioning not only organized crime, but also, you know, sanctioning the Gang of Four, which is just to keep the inmates in line. You know, like, and that's pretty much how it is now. You know, they encourage gang conflict in prison. Just the actual culture of it. You know, it just kind of brings that out.
Blood in, blood out with Japanese.
Yeah, right. Oh man, I look forward to the day that we do that movie. It's like, oh, that movie's so long.
Oh, yeah. What is it, like 2 hours?
It's like 2.5 hours long.
It is.
It's like, why did that movie need to be that long? Yeah.
The only thing it
And
didn't have.
this movie was about an hour and a half, which is perfect because it's short and sweet.
Yeah, the pacing in this movie is absolutely superb, actually. I mean, I do like how the story can be a little incoherent at times, but the way that it's paced, the way it goes from scene to scene to scene, it always kind of makes sense. It has a flow to it.
And it culminates, you can kind of feel when the end is coming near.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting because some of the last few films we've done seem to had a lack of narrative flow.
That's true. Yeah.
So this one was a little refreshing to kind of get that archetypal flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Back.
With characters that are formed from solid tropes and everything, you know, that actually relate to the story, like diegetically, even. You know.
Qigong requires you to control your temperament. Remember, Riki, Qigong accumulates energy in the human body and turns the body into a natural shield against all attacks. When you have the energy, you should be able to use it. Now I want you to call forth your energy and break this headstone with your arms and your legs. Watch me do it. Now I want you to practice. Use your strength well. Riki, take advantage of your strength. Riki, Qigong feeds on strength and gets stronger and stronger. Give it a try. Good.
Time to see the assistant warden.
But yeah, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up now.
Wrap it up.
Wrap up the season 1 of Collateral Cinema Movie Podcast. What do y'all think?
Woo!
Woo!
I think it's a great start.
Oh yeah, I love this. Right?
Can we talk about the Slugworth character?
The Slugworth character. Oh yeah, the
Because
warden.
we are right on that scene.
Yeah, the Slugworth character. Like,
So you're basically walking into a Charlie and Chocolate Factory, right? So
yeah, that'd be an interesting theory? Maybe that this is kind of like a really twisted Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, except the chocolate is opium.
exactly. There's your
Right?
Chinese Augustus right there.
Yeah, right. That kind of makes sense.
Looking like Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un, oh, that little shit. Fuck this little motherfucker. I swear. This little shit in the green jacket? No. Fuck that little motherfucker.
So when does Johnny Depp come out?
Right. Jesus Christ. The Warden comes out looking a lot like Slugworth from the Willy Wonka movie back in the day. I mean,
He looks just like him.
yeah.
From the Gene Wilder films, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty wild. But let's not have that be the note that we end on.
No.
This movie is priceless, like so many of the movies that we've done on this season of this podcast.
Eye-popping.
Eye-popping.
I mean.
Oh, man, in so many ways.
It's almost over.
It's almost over.
It's
But guys, give me your final thoughts on the movie. Ash, what do you think?
This movie was a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
This is definitely something that everybody just needs to see
Yeah.
once in their life. I mean, you need to see this movie because it's just so much fun. And especially if you're a fan of anime and manga,
Yeah,
I think you'll
certainly.
really enjoy this. If you're a fan of exploitation, you'll enjoy this. Even if you're not a fan of exploitation, the fact that it's just done so hilariously.
It's definitely one of those movies that were made to be like a live-action cartoon.
Right,
in many ways.
Yeah.
Like, I would argue that even like the Lord of the Ring movies is kind of a cartoon in many ways, you know?
The Hobbit.
It's kind of got a cartoon element to it.
Mm,
You don't think so?
I don't know.
I think that there's some cartoony elements to it. You know, but I mean, that's just Peter Jackson's directing, though.
Right.
He always had that slapstick flair to it, you know, to his directing. Robert, what are your final thoughts?
I really can't wait to watch it one more time, but, I've always been a fan of the Sonny Chiba films, Bruce Lee, Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter is great.
So that's where I'm at with, like, old Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee,
yeah.
Drunken Master,
And this movie definitely stands up to those.
It reminds me of something unique, too.
Yeah, it's hard to describe it in so many ways, and while it's comparable to so many movies like that, it's also unique in its own right and stands on its own.
Exactly.
But yeah, I really was fortunate enough to find this movie while DVD was shopping. I mean, I saw it just off the corner of my eye, and I was like, "Oh no, I got to get that right now!" Like, that was the only movie I bought at that time, and I'm proud to have it in my collection. And I'm glad that this was the season finale of Collateral Cinema Movie Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, we needed to do just something cheesy, fun, and cultish, you know?
Right. That's just the heart of this whole thing.
Oh, it's very much at the heart. But in the next season, we're going to do lots of interesting movies, and we are starting off with Halloween 2018. As we said before, ladies and gentlemen, that will be coming in late October.
October 19th or 20th, right? I think it's
It's
October
like
19th.
26th or something like that, right?
Is it?
That's when we'll probably actually release the episode. I want to try to
I
release
think the
it
release
before.
date on the movie is like October 19th or 20th.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's going to be our official Halloween episode, and it's going to be an At the Theater episode.
So it will be an on-screen episode.
Yeah, it'll be an on-screen episode. We'll keep it spoiler-free, and we'll definitely get into that movie. I can't wait. Like, I mean, we saw, what was it, Super Troopers 2
Yeah.
in the theaters?
That was our first on-screen.
That was fantastic, man.
420 episodes. We did 2 420s, right?
Yeah. And we'll definitely do 420 episodes in the next season. So look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. Look forward to our new sound. Look forward to our new cover photo, new music. Like, we're going to step up our game, ladies and gentlemen.
Whole new
And
look. Yeah.
you should definitely stop by our Patreon page and our Podbean patron page. So please donate, ladies and gentlemen. Please donate to us. Help us make this podcast everything that it can be. Right, guys?
We would appreciate that.
Feed
Yeah.
us some lunch.
You can find Collateral Cinema on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Podbean. You'll find us on Stitcher. We're on Google Play. We're on Tumblr. We're on WordPress. And we just submitted our podcast to iTunes.
iTunes.
And we are on Spotify as well. And we are definitely going to bring a lot of entertaining content in the next season. And we're also going to do a couple YouTube videos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to
Definitely.
give some movie recommendations to y'all, the three of us. It'll be a good long session for us. I mean, we'll do like a good hour-long video maybe. And that wraps up the first season of Collateral Cinema. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a great time doing this. We're going to, like we said, tweak up our scheduling a little bit. We might go weekly. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, we still want to start filming too.
Yeah, we need to focus on that as well. And there will be films coming down the pipeline as well. We are aspiring filmmakers, and we are definitely going to try to make something interesting.
And then review it ourselves.
Maybe. But also look for more podcast hosts coming in the next season. More guest hosts.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a good time, ladies and gentlemen. So please join us. I'm Beau Maddox.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
Collateral Cinema is out. See you in October, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Collateral Cinema is an L Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by their respective creators. Please don't sue us. We're poor.